When we first heard about the New York Prize and the community microgrids, we thought to ourselves, geez, we could do that. This is a great idea. Our facility that we're putting up right now, the Mamaroneck self-storage, is right in the flood zone of Mamaroneck's flood zone. And since we're going to design phase 2, we thought this would be terrific to incorporate a microgrid into it so that we can best serve the community that we are in now. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to, I know that you're vitally invested in this area here, and I've asked you to talk about the what it was like here during the floods and the disaster we had in Mamaroneck.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank both Mr. Bellata and Mr. Murphy. They represent what is best in the village of Mamaroneck and surviving. Actually, what we are discussing are the floods and the damage in the village of Mamaroneck. In one instance, the village of Mamaroneck was estimated to lose over $18 million in property. And where we're standing right now, I can tell you, unfortunately, for Mr. Bellata, the water was up to our waist. It's up to here. And what we're looking at now is a continuous situation where we can prevent flooding, because right behind you over here in Columbus Park is where it all starts, the confluence. There is a third Army Corps of Engineers study that is just about to be done. As a matter of fact, today is July 23rd, and at the end of August, I believe we will be going down to speak with the Army Corps of Engineers in Washington, D.C. There is light at the end of the tunnel, I believe within 2 years. Hopefully when we get the funding, and it appears that we will, with the support already told by Senator Schumer and Congressman Engel, that we will be able to go into the rivers, widen the rivers, and deepen the rivers, and get the water to the harbor as soon as possible. And that is basically what it is to lessen it. And this plan will reduce almost all sites in the village of Mamaroneck anywhere from 2 to 6 feet of water. And it will obviously increase the value of the property, the tax base, and continue the viability of the village of Mamaroneck. And that's basically what it is. But there are a lot of programs that have come about because of that. Village of Mamaroneck started an all-hazard mitigation plan, which allowed us to have federal funding done through the village for people that want to raise their homes. And we've already done that successfully with 2 homes. You can see another site at the Shore Acres Club. They just raised that 2 feet above base flood elevation, which now is a requirement in all flood zones to do it. So it will continue, again, the viability and keep superstars like Mr. Bellata here, who I just found out is an international star, and I would definitely want to keep him here so someone else doesn't grab him away.
We love being here. But when Mr. Mayor talked about the 18 million,
yes.
Is that what you said? 10% of that was our loss. 10% of that was our loss. So it was mentally, it was like a kick in the butt. And really the only thing that pulled us out of it was all of our neighbors and friends that showed up for the next day, for the next week, dismantling the entire showroom and gutting it out, allowing us to rebuild it. So without that neighborly support, we would have never reopened. And that's really what the village of Mamaroneck is. It's neighborly support, and that's why we're here.
That is true. Actually, it's the friendly village that is success is based on its volunteers. And that's exactly what this is all about. From the flood mitigation committee to the ZBA or the planning board or anyone else in the village administration, someone who loses $1.8 million or close to it, not the exact number is not necessary, but to keep them in this village, we all have to work together. And that's the whole idea. And I will say the village of Mamaroneck has been rated in the past 5 or 6 years as #1 in New York State, and as high as number 63 throughout the entire United States. But you can't live on your laurels. You have to continue to do it. So I thank both the Murphy brothers and Mr. Bellata for continuing to stay here and improve our lot. And even those that watching on lmc-tv, another group, which thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, this is Lois Arena. Lois, come here for a minute. Lois is with Stephen Winter Associates. Lois, why don't you tell us about microgrids and community grids in general and what that's all about?
Well, typically microgrids don't span large areas like the feasibility study that we're looking at right now. Typically, a microgrid is on campus, a hospital complex perhaps, but it's usually within the same block so that you're not trying to cross utility lines with your equipment. What New York State is looking at is creating community microgrids around the state that will actually serve somebody down the block or 3 miles away, so that if the power goes out, you can still supply power to critical facilities in the area. So that's what we're first looking at, is critical facilities, things like fire stations, police stations, hospitals, senior centers, anything that where if the power goes down, our first responders can't get to people to help them. So that's basically what we're working on with Murphy Brothers, is evaluating the potential for the microgrid in the village of Mamaroneck. What are the roadblocks to that? How do we get past it? What's the cost-benefit analysis of that? And we're hoping to provide something to New York State that says, yes, this is a viable project and we should move forward.
This is Naomi from the food bank. Some of you met her last week, so she's here today. So Naomi would
well, I just want to thank the Murphy Brothers for allowing me to be here, just to give you a very brief overview of what the food bank is. We're the largest hunger relief organization in Westchester. As you may know, there's a really great need for our services throughout the county. There's 1 in 5 people that need some sort of food assistance at some point during the month. And so we're just so grateful to have so many wonderful partners, especially the Murphy Brothers, who we are working with on our fall benefit, which is on October 22nd. And August 11th. August 11th, the Murphy Brothers will be holding a lunch, which I hope that you all can join us.
lunch and learn.
Lunch and learn.
Yes.
At the food bank, and I'm happy to personally give you a tour if you'd like one, to learn more about what we do. But we're so grateful to be able to show you what our services provide throughout the county, and thank you again for letting me be here.
Oh, you're welcome. Great organization. Presentation's going to be on LED lighting. Presentations go out next week. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy O'Kane.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Bellotta Kitchens. This should be an interesting AAA event that you can see the topic right here. Now, if some people haven't been here before, Bellotta Kitchens is celebrating their 30th anniversary, and it was started by Jim Bellotta Sr. Actually, a couple more years than 30 years, I think, but okay, who's counting? And tonight we have Regina and Jimmy and Maria Bellotta here, and we also have a fabulous staff of designers, so if anybody has any questions that you didn't have answered before, they're here to answer them. We have, I don't know where everybody is, but I'll try. We have Jenny Spade, and nobody over there. We have Fabrice, and we have Linda Daniele, and we have Paula Greer somewhere. And am I missing anybody? Peter Bittner. So those are the people beside myself that can answer any questions and tell you what we do here, which is basically to supply and design cabinetry for all the rooms of your home. So that's what we're doing. And some of the products that we've introduced this year, over the last year, was our own product line, which is quite lovely. And we have a team of people that came together to design that, and you can see that in the showroom here, and again, ask questions about it. Let's see, what else do I have to cover about things? I believe that we are going to be refreshing the showroom as we do every couple of years, and that is there'll be a big event like this to, show you all what we have to offer. And it will come in little dribs and drabs, which is more exciting than getting it all at once. So please feel free to come in and speak to us about that and come see what we're up to. I understand that Michael asked me to do a few housekeeping things. One would be to turn your cell phones off or put them on vibrate. Another would be to let you know that the facilities can be found right through this door. And the third one is there's exits in both of these directions in case something should happen during this presentation. And the last thing I have to tell you is your next speaker will be Michael Yedowitz from Wainscot Solutions, and he'll tell you all about that. So enjoy your evening.
Okay, so Wainscot Solutions. We are a custom mill shop, and what we do is we take the site work out of building wainscoting. We take it to our shop. We pre-build the wainscoting there. We fully assemble the stuff, custom for every job, and we deliver it to the job site in big sections that are all primed. All the prep work is done. It makes the finished contractor or finished carpenter's job a lot easier because all that work is done. All I have to do is take these sections and install them. So we take all the fabrication time off the job site. I said that already. And I had a lot of those Bellinis too. Too many. You're pushing them too hard. Too much. So I'm here tonight because one of the best resources for us are architects. And why is that? Because I think we offer a product that's perfect for you guys if you're looking for a real style and rail or a cope and stick sort of wainscoting as opposed to applied moldings that we see a lot on job sites. Not many people, or there are actually, I think we're one of the only companies out that specialize in wainscoting, which is why we decided to start it. And I really believe that that there's a need for it in the industry. So for 20 years, I was a contractor, mostly in Fairfield County, and I was building these houses. And as I got a little bit better and my business evolved, I started to do a lot of these tear downs and what we all like to call McMansions. And there was a lot of moldings, right? There was layers and layers of moldings, and I think that people started to think that the house was better if there was 7-piece crown moldings put in and just piles and layers of molding put on. And I started to sort of see it, losing its charm a little bit. So I decided that there was a real need for what I consider to be an authentic wainscoting. So if you want a true raised panel wainscoting that is built the same way it would have been built 100 years ago, then you would come to us for that. And hopefully we'll get in front of you guys at some point, and ladies, and we have a great architect's binder that shows all the different profiles. They're all very, I guess, sort of well-known profiles. They're common, and then there's also some custom stuff. And we'll show you, the binder will show you all those different profiles. It'll teach you about our assembly techniques and about the different products that we offer. In other words, the different species of wood that we offer product in and paint grade products. So I'd like to get back to all you guys and maybe offer you one of these binders and see if we can get on some of your drawings. And I think that's all I have to say.
I see we have the assistant publisher for Westchester Magazine, Mr. Sam Wenders, in the crowd over there. Westchester Magazine is a sponsor of this event, Hobart. And there's Sam's over there if you want to bug him about getting an ad in the magazine. He's over there waiting to talk to you. But anyways,
Michael, I forgot one thing.
Okay.
We have to introduce the mayor.
Oh, geez, go ahead.
Who's Cheers fans? Cheers? Everybody watch Cheers? Yeah. Let's give a Norm! Hey, 1, 2, 3, Norm!
Thank you. Hold the beer. Welcome to Friendly Village of Mamaroneck. I would note that we have been around a long time, from the Revolutionary War up to other events such as the founding of the movie industry in the United States. Actually started out on what is now Flagler Drive, up to current events where we've been recently in the past few years, 3 different times, noted as the #1 village in New York State and as high as number 63 and the best place to live in the United States. But with that goes problems. I can tell you, everyone sitting here in Sandy, you would be underwater. And that's what happens, and you continually have to look to make sure that you continue the viability of being #1 and the quality of life. Very quickly, I would note that some of the things that we did as a result of that is, of course, the Army Corps of Engineers, which hopefully will come to an end, and we will have a legitimate cure to the majority of flooding in the village of Mamaroneck within a couple of years. But in the meanwhile, some of the other programs that we've done is create a public-private group, microgrid. And I would say that Murphy Brothers and Bellata represents the best what's in the village of Mamaroneck. I just found out Bellata is also well known internationally. So they're bringing name the village, friendly village Mamaroneck to Hong Kong, Europe, and all over the world. And with that, we are creating this microgrid that the village Mamaroneck and a public-private group, and we will be having a meeting, I think, September 29th at the library. Everyone's invited to come. So this will help in the next flood or disaster, any type of disaster. We will maintain communications and power. And with that, I'd like to introduce Lois Arena. Oh, and one thing, if I might add, take advantage of it, we have block parties that we close down Mamaroneck Avenue. Everybody's invited. It's for kids and adults. And it's terrific. The next one is August 13th. And if you'd like, you can come dunk the mayor.
Thank you. I like being introduced by the mayor. No offense, Mark. The presentation on the 29th will be a presentation from our team on what community microgrids are. So if you're interested, please come. We'd love to have you. My name's Lois Arena. I'm an engineer with Steve Winter Associates. I know a lot of you. You've been to other presentations I've given.